Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be quickly discussing everything that we learned from the last letter from the producer, which came out yesterday. I was at work for the most part, so I wasn't able to sit down and actually go through everything step by step until I got home later that night. So this is going up a little bit late. I hope you can forgive me for that. But yes, this is going to be a discussion of just everything that's going to be coming for us, as well as any new tidbits that we learned. So we did get a couple new interesting things to talk about, several which are what kind of bosses we're going to be facing. So yeah, this one was really interesting, including just a quick preview of some of the boss battles that we're going to be fighting against, some new information, just new little extra little treats and surprises that are waiting for us, and even some very interesting fan videos that were made. So I hope you all enjoy it. Okay, so the letter from the producer started off with the trailer. If you want to see the trailer, then please go ahead and click on this description down below, which was my live reaction to the video. I loved it. I am planning on doing a kind of a step-by-step preview of each one of the scenes that we saw and give my own personal predictions for that, so I hope you're looking forward to it. But yes, we finally got the trailer and even the release date for patch 5.4, which is coming out December 8th, which is not next Tuesday, but it's the Tuesday after next. So at this point, I think we have about, I would say, a week and a half, so it's coming up pretty fast. I do know that Yoshi P and the dev team said that because of the pandemic and everything, they had fallen severely behind. I mean, that was shown back when 5.3 was just about to come out. They had to push it back several months. Yeah, so at this point in time, we would be planning out the fan festivals and getting everything ready for, I think, maybe patch 5.5 at this point, either 1 or 2. But yeah, what can you do? The pandemic has not been kind to anyone this year. Anyway, the dev team did state that they are slowly getting back on track, so hopefully we will get back to some semblance of normality as soon as possible. I do know that for this particular patch, they are putting in a lot more content than they usually would. So I think that by patch standards, this one is probably has the most content of any other patches that we've had so far, and they really did show that. So first off, we're just going to be discussing what we already know, what's to come in patch 5.4. Now these things we are already aware of, we've talked about them before, such as the new main scenario quest, the new instant dungeon, which is known as Matoya's Roulette, and the new Chronicles of a New Era quest, which are the Sorrows of Wyatt. So we already know all about that. Those are definitely coming out, as well as the new trials, which is Castrum Marinum, which is actually part of the Sorrows of Wyatt, where we're going to be battling against the Emerald Weapon. And if I remember correctly, Castrum Marinum was actually one of the castrums that is located maybe in Limsa? I don't know if I'm remembering that right or if I just have the names mixed up. Either way, we're going to be going straight into the very heart of a castrum, probably to try to get rid of all of the weapons while we still can. We also have the new raid dungeon, which is Eden's Promise. It's going to be the very final patch for Eden. So we're going to wrap up everything with Gaia, her memories, and I guess just continuing to finish the final part of bringing life back to the empty. I can't wait to see what it looks like once we're done there. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. What else is coming is the Save the Queen update, which is not coming out till patch 5.45. We're going to be getting some new job adjustments. We are going to be getting some more Blue Mage updates, but that won't be coming out till patch 5.45, where we're going to get the level cap increased from 60 to 70. We're going to be getting some new spells, new Blue Mage exclusive gear is going to be added, and we're going to see a picture of that in a moment, as well as new duties are going to be added to the Blue Mage log. So here is just a quick screenshot of just one of the abilities that we're going to be learning, and in case you don't know it or you don't recognize it, this is actually a move from Suzaku, which is from the Four Lords. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Not too looking forward to actually having to do all of these battles. Hopefully we won't have to do the extreme battles in order to get these particular abilities. But here is a quick picture of what the new Blue Mage gear is going to look like, and I gotta say, I love it. Just look at it. It's fantastic. It kind of has that, I don't know, that jester kind of magician look to it. Either way, I think it's gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to that, if just to get the outfit, if nothing else. Alright, we also have some more crafting and gathering updates. We're going to have less frequency used actions, and those are going to be adjusted. New crafting conditions are going to be added for certain expert recipes. Collectible and ethereal reduction systems have been revamped. Evolution of gathering points can be discerned on the map, and fish eyes will be adjusted. They did talk a bit about the changes that they're making to the fisher gear. So fish eyes will no longer be required to catch fish, and the difficulty of catching certain fish is going to be adjusted. The updated action will instead allow players to ignore the time requirement for catching fish, which is going to be helpful because there are some fish that you have to fish for like at a very specific time, and if you stay there for too long, then you completely miss that window of opportunity and you have to wait. Also, the updated action will instead allow players to ignore the time requirement for catching fish, which is going to be helpful. Affects fish in areas introduced prior to Stormblood, has no effect on legendary fish or those caught while ocean fishing, and will be made to affect more fish in future updates. So that's going to be cool to see. Now, as for what else, we have ocean fishing updates, so new routes are going to be added and additional objectives are going to be added. We have a couple screenshots here. So this one looks like we're just off the coast of Hullbreaker Isle. And this next one, it looks like just outside of the Wanderer's Palace. I wasn't aware that was actually connected to the ocean. I thought that was just part of the lake, but oh well. Alright, so we have other quick updates such as the Ishgardian Restoration, but that's not coming out till patch 5.41. And then there's going to be the Skysteel Tools update, which is coming out in patch 5.45. So this is going to be like the very last part for Ishgard. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. We also have the Explorer mode for dungeons, which if you haven't heard yet, is going to be able to allow you to run through all these old dungeons without being attacked, and you can actually take your time and explore them. The current Unreal trial is going to be swapped, so it will no longer be Shiva Unreal. We also have the Shifting Oblates of Lethgala. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, so if I did, please let me know. But yeah, that's where we're going to be going when we open up specific treasure maps. A new rule set in tournament mode for Triple Triad is coming, as well as quick matches added to Domin Mahjong. As for any other kind of updates, kind of what we were expecting, such as the Alagon Tomestones of Revelation are going to be added. Level sync can be enabled or disabled separately from the undersized party option. New violin instruments will be added to the performance feature. Wonder how that's going to look. And we also have like bulk advanced material mending, as well as ability to link quests in the chat window. Not sure if that's really needed, but hey, who am I to judge? They also were kind enough to give us some pictures on some new gear that's going to be coming for us, and they look awesome. I'm not going to say exactly from where it looks like they got them, but they're definitely something that you would expect a Warrior of Darkness to wear. So what we have here is the fending gear from the looks of things, like thick black armor. This one here is kind of like a dark kind of gentleman off the high seas, at least judging from the knives, so that's going to be the scouting gear. The next one is for aiming, and look at those weapons there. They look less like chakras and more like just Death's Eye. And I love the guy's mask because you can't see his face or anything, and that's even scarier. It kind of reminds me of a scarecrow for some reason. This one, I'm guessing, is going to be for Lancer. Completely badass despite the small size. I love the weapon there, which looks like the Morning Star or a mace or whatever it's called. Would not want to get hit by that. Next is for striking gear as the Samurai. Kind of like a wandering kind of samurai-ish gear. Almost like a mixture between samurai and monk if you ask me. This one is for the healing class. I think this is actually one of the few outfits I've seen for healing that isn't like a light color. Like usually you see them in white or grays. This one here is like pitch black. And finally for the casting gear, and this looks much more like what you would expect with casting gear. Just kind of like dark, morose, just kind of spiky, interesting kind of style. It almost reminds me of a Dark Knight anyway. Alright, so moving on next, let's see what we've got. So moving on to a little bit of the first battle that we've seen with Eden's Promise. So they did say that there's going to be 4 battles upcoming with Eden's Promise, which is going to be the last patch with Eden in general. So it's going to wrap up the whole story with the Empty and Gaia, and we're hopefully going to learn everything here. So at this point, there are a lot of theories going on about who we're going to be fighting up against next. And I have some ideas to who we're going to be facing, including who the final boss is going to be, but I'll talk more about that during my trailer analysis, like speculations there. But I can say with absolute certainty that the first battle that we're going to be up against will be none other than the Cloud of Darkness. And they actually have it here. I got this little recording of what they were able to play with while they were showing us with the live letter. So this is the Cloud of Darkness, how she looked in Dissidia. And not only that, we are here in the World of Darkness. So I guess this would explain why we would first need to do the patch 5.3 in order to understand more about what's going on here, especially since you need to have completed this to be able to complete 5.3. So yeah, I love this design. I have to say her design here is much better than how it looked originally when we first came to the World of Darkness. I don't know if this is where we are exactly. I mean, when I look around, it looks like it, but I can't see how we could be traveling to another world just yet. So it could be that this is just another part of maybe Eden is creating like some kind of illusions or something. I have this strange feeling though that we did come here to the World of Darkness. I mean, we've done it once, we could probably do it again. But yeah, we're up against the Cloud of Darkness first off, so she's going to be the first battle that we're facing off here, and that's all we know for right now. Like, she's the only like real confirmed boss for us. Wow, so it's been a long time since we were last here. So it looks so cool. I'm so glad that we got to see it again, that we're referencing it again. So they did show us a little bit more of what the battle is going to be like. Like the Cloud of Darkness is going to be just really difficult, like what you would expect. So I don't know if this is like the real Cloud of Darkness, to be honest, because as far as I knew, we kind of destroyed her. Well, maybe not destroyed her, but we kind of took care of her before, so maybe this is just like another memory that was kind of created from the Cloud of Darkness. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. And they talked a great deal about Monk. So the Monk class is going to be getting some major adjustments, such as with Grease Lightning. It's been changed from a status effect to more of a trait. So you no longer need to worry about increasing damage dealt. Actions, potencies, and effects have been adjusted. The effective actions that maintained or consumed stacks of Grease Lightning have also been adjusted. So like from Form Shift, you can use Formless Fist status, which allows execution of actions regardless of form. There's also the Tornado Kick, which can now be used at any time. Potency and recast times have been adjusted. And then there's the Six-Sided Star, which has increases movement speed for a short duration. So I have to admit, Monk is not one of my favorite jobs. If I had to pick one of the DPS that I work the least with, it would probably be Monk. But I hope that this update here will make it a little bit easier, more enjoyable for me to be able to use Monk. Personally, I was kind of hoping that they would make some adjustments to the Astrologian. They also showed a little bit of the video here about some of the actions or the adjustments shown with the Monk. So we're back here in Ralgar's Reach. They brought out like a little monster for us to fight against, and we actually see a little bit of the changes there. Moving on to the Triple Triad update. I wasn't aware this was a thing. So they did talk a great deal about Triple Triad. If you haven't played the game yet, you definitely have to go over to the Gold Saucer and they'll teach you how to use it and how to play with it. So they definitely made some different changes here. So they talked a great deal about that for quite a while. And afterwards, we spent about a good 10 minutes going over just some fan videos that were made, and some of them are really creative. I thought that they were really funny, some of them. Moving on, they showed us exactly who we're going to be getting next for the Unreal Battle. So we can say goodbye to Shiva and hello to Titan. Oh my god, like once they said Titan, I almost had a heart attack because Titan, I mean, even Yoshi P here looked like he was going to cry when he mentioned Titan. So I remember when they first started the Unreal battles, they were thinking about having both Shiva and Titan released at the same time so that you would have a choice. But I think they mentioned something along the lines of people are going to be having like traumatic flashbacks to Titan when they first beat Extreme. Oh my god, just thinking about it is just painful. I mean, Shiva is hard enough as it is, even when you know what you're doing, but Titan, even if you know exactly what you're doing, he will still find a way to completely mess you up. So I guess we better start practicing. We have about less than 2 weeks left to say goodbye to Shiva. And speaking of trials, they showed a little bit of the trial that we can be expecting with the Emerald weapon. So we're here inside the castrum. It reminds me of quite a bit of Tsukuyomi, which makes sense because we are inside of a castrum. It's definitely a lot bigger. So the Emerald weapon is actually going to be separated into 2 separate halves, kind of like what happened with the Ruby weapon, and the second half is supposed to be vastly different than the first. So this is a little bit just kind of the opening, I suppose you could call it, for the Emerald weapon, and don't know who it is who's going to be piloting just yet, and I have no idea like who, I guess their essence was kind of put into the weapon to make them fight. I mean, if I had to guess, I don't have a certain idea or anyone in mind, but if I had to guess, yeah, I can't say it. I'm sorry. I had a theory about whose, I guess, essence is going to go into the Emerald weapon and was inspired by, I guess. But when I try to say it, I think to myself just how stupid it sounds, and I just can't bring myself to say it. Oh well. What can you do? Okay, so what else did they talk about? Yes, so they did talk a bit more about the treasure maps. And it looks a bit different than what they had before, but it's gorgeous. I'll say that. It definitely looks very pretty like where we are right now, and we're able to earn like new prizes, new rewards, kind of what you expect. And it's all about luck, really. It's going to be about almost like a game of roulette. Yeah, so here we got like this giant pixie, and I mean giant, like I don't know how this pixie got so big, but... Alright, moving on to collectible and ethereal reduction changes. So for these, we have some changes made to both botanist and miner. There are new items specifically designated as collectibles that will always be gathered as such. Significant changes have been made to the collectible system. Details on that are coming in a minute. Following the changes made to collectibles, the items requested by the House of Splendors and expert deliveries have also been changed. Please note that there is a change. Collectible gathered prior to patch 5.4 may no longer be accepted. So the where has been removed. Don't know what that means just yet. I'm sure I'll figure that out. Actions used to increase collectability have been revamped. Players must increase collectability while being mindful of remaining integrity of node. And adjustments have been made to ensure higher gathering and perception attributes allow for more efficient gathering of collectibles. So, gathering really isn't my forte in this game. I mean, I enjoy it to a certain degree, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll figure it out sooner or later. Alright, so here is the next big thing. I'm on the Lamia server, so not too long ago we ended up completing the next part of the Ishgardian restoration, so here we are with the final piece for the Ishgardian restoration update. So this is going to be the 4th phase of the restoration. It begins in patch 5.41, which I think will take place in about maybe 2 weeks to within a month after the initial patch release. So the restoration is scheduled to reach completion. So the firmament is supposed to be completely rebuilt, and if I remember correctly, I think either they're going to be adding a school there for kids, I'm not sure if that's true, but I think Emanuele pointed out that it's supposed to be places where people can go to relax and have fun. That's kind of what I'm expecting. The Sky Builder rankings are going to reopen, and so of course we're going to be getting new items, as well as the top ranked crafters and gatherers will receive the same titles as before, but new achievements. And there will be the final ranking coinciding with the conclusion of the Ishgardian Restoration. So if you haven't reached like the very top rank just yet, this is probably going to be your last chance, so you better be careful about that. We also have the Monument Construction. So during the next ranking, the score of all crafters is going to be tallied based on the class that you are. So during the next ranking system, the scores of all crafters are going to be tallied based on your class. So a monument is going to be honoring the chosen class of any specific server with the highest combined score. So say for example that Goldsmith was used more often by the players based solely on how many score points that you get. They're going to be building a statue dedicated to the Goldsmith. Hopefully it won't be Godbert. It would be hilarious if it was. But yeah, that's just a basic idea. So the monument to crafters placed in the firmament will depict the winning class's tool. And each world may have a completely different monument. Alright, so I think we're getting near the end. It's going to be just the miscellaneous items now, such as the Explorer mode, where you can actually explore dungeons that you previously completed. Now for the time being, the only dungeons we can explore are those from the 5.x series, but they are saying that we'll add other dungeons in later patches. So there aren't going to be any enemies, you'll be completely free to run through it, all the obstacles will be cleared, you'll be able to ride mounts, bring your minions, have fashion accessories during these little excursions. There's going to be striking dummies placed up to allow actions to be used, and you can use limit breaks however much you want. They even showed a quick little introduction to that, but let's get here for a moment just to show us a little more of what's coming. So they're in Explorer mode and they're running through the new cosmos, and this here is actually the image of a new mount, which is, I'm guessing, what we're going to be getting for Christmas or the Starlight event. And it's a snowman. There's no other way to explain it except it's a snowman. We're inside the snowman, we're hopping around with like the head like right above us, and it's adorable. We also have another mount here, which they call the Choco Pokor, which is kind of like, I guess, a chocolatey version of the original. I don't know if that's really made of chocolate or maybe if it's just like mud covered or something like that. Either way, it looks cute. Also, something very interesting that they added. So we are going to be getting new accessories, like mostly with umbrellas by the looks of things, such as with this pink one. But we're also going to be getting some very special accessories in the forms of wings. So you won't be able to actually fly with these particular wings, but they move. Like, they look like actual wings. So here she is. So when you jump, they actually open up and it actually looks like you're about to take off and fly. That is so cool. I love it. I really, really do. Now all we need are like wing versions of a mount. I would love that. I've been looking forward to something like that for a long time. I've played other games where you actually gain wings so that you can fly from place to place. So come on, Square Enix, you're halfway there. We're also going to be getting some new minions. They showed us a couple of them, such as like this large flat fish. I don't know what it's called, but I'm guessing that's something that we'll be able to get from deep sea fishing, as well as what can only be described as a golden beaver. So I'm guessing that's something that we get from maybe a treasure map or something, if we just happen to get lucky with that. That's my best bet. Especially since the pixies seem to be so scared of beavers for some reason. I never really understood that, but what can you do? But oh my god, I just love the little snowman. He is so cute. So I am betting that we're going to be getting the snowman from the Starlight event that's coming up this year. Alright, and they also talked a little bit about the Save the Queen update, where it's going to be coming out in patch 4.45 as well. So it's the new large-scale duty, Delubrium Regane. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right either, but whatever. Either way, for normal, it's actually 24 players, no role requirements for matching, and it's also a Savage mode where you can enter with 48 people, and players have to form parties before entering if you want to do the Savage mode. But apparently you can speak with the NPC in Gangos, and the normal version must be cleared to complete any story. So whether you like it or not, you're going in here. They also showed us a little bit more about some of the furnishings that's going to be coming out with this next patch. So here it looks kind of like a garden, like you have like this little wall of flowers and thorns. I'm guessing that's like a divider. We also have like these beautifully wrapped boxes of flowers, so I'm guessing that's something like you can set up for display. I know that they've been doing that recently, so those are kind of all the flowers that you can kind of grow and then maybe set up to see if you can sell any. That's kind of a cute idea. Also, for the kitchen here, we have a couple things. It looks like we have a mug sitting off to the side, as well as maybe like a bag of flour, a carton of milk. It looks like a cutting board with some cookie cutters and rolling pins, and right behind the little chef there, it looks like we have a display of different kinds of breads that you can sell, maybe some fruits or pastries. That looks cute. Also, we're going to be getting some new furnishings for the outside of the house, where it looks like a snow-covered cottage or a log cabin, I guess. So that's actually going to look really cool once Christmas comes out and you can actually decorate your house. So I really do like that. I think it looks great. It gives me a little bit more of a Ishgardian feeling, so I'm still holding out hope, Square Enix. I'm still hoping that someday I can get my own little house up in Ishgard, but we'll see about that. Also, for the furnishings inside the house, it looks like we have those displays that we've been wanting for such a long time. So you can display your favorite outfits, your favorite weapons. It looks like we got some banners up on the walls, as well as the poster. If you recognize that, that's actually the same kind of poster that was inside the Bookman shelves, or where Urianger was staying during the first. We also have what looks like to the side there a large golden lion, which I'm guessing is something else that we can get from one of the treasure chests. And I don't know if that's like a potted plant or maybe a lamp, but it looks like little flowers that are glowing in the dark. Oh, and also they really emphasize on the idea of these mannequins in the background. Like, they were really pointing out those mannequins, so I don't know if that means anything, but... So, we're almost done, don't worry. I know I tend to talk a lot, but hey. So, we have a couple more emotes, and then we will wrap it up. So, this first emote, I really don't know how to describe it, except maybe like a pounce? Because it kind of looks like little kitty paws and you're getting ready to pounce on somebody. That's kind of the impression I'm getting from that. But other than that, we have a sweep emote where we actually have ourselves sweeping the floor with a broom. So we've seen a few NPCs actually doing that, so I'm guessing we're going to be doing that from now on. Which makes sense because we do a lot of chores. We also have a couple eating emotes where we had just eat the bread emotes. We now have eating an apple. And we also have one which I do love. It's eating a rice ball or unigiri. So it's kind of the exact same kind of motions as eating with the bread, only it's just different foods. So what can you do there? And a couple more which are actually painting emotes. So we have pink and blue. And I think we actually see this during the Omega questline, like during the battles with the, what was the Phantom Train? Oh no, not the Phantom Train, it was with the picture frame. Yeah, that's right. So we're actually painting the floor in either pink or blue, leaving a huge mess in the background. Yeah, you could tell he had a lot of fun coming up with those, and we'll probably be getting other colors later on. Alright, so just a couple more words of advice before we leave. They did announce the showcase, which is going to be taking place Friday, February 5th to Saturday, February 6th. So the broadcast is included to have both live interpretation from Japanese to English, so just about anyone can watch it from there, it looks like. And it's going to be a 14-hour broadcast. So I'm guessing that they're going to be having this in place of the fan festivals, at least for the time being. So I'm guessing that we're going to be getting more information, perhaps on patch 5.5, as well as what we can be expecting, or at least some clues to what we can be looking forward to in the next expansion of 6.0. So if you get a chance to watch it, please do. Also, we have the 50% off Black Friday sale, which will be ending Monday, November 30th, so we only have a couple days. So sales apply to the complete edition of Shadowbringers, both standard and collectors, and this applies to both the Square Enix store, the PlayStation store, and the Stream. We also have the Lawson's Final Fantasy XIV campaign. So this is actually going to be part of a special kind of items. These are scheduled to be released on Tuesday, December 15th. And I'm guessing these are popcorn. It looks like popcorn. So these are going to be out while supplies last. And I guess if you buy enough of those, you can purchase like the little Choco Porter mount, as well as some other selected items from Lawson. Alright, so that looks like everything that we should know for the time being. I hope that you all enjoyed the discussion and that you're all looking forward to the next patch. It's almost here. It's less than 2 weeks away. So if you still have something that you need to do right now before the patch comes out, we still have time to do so. As for me, I still need to finish my weapons as well as... what was it? Boja, that's right. I just want to finish ranking up and get all my weapons before it comes out, but otherwise I'm good to go. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't look like we're getting any more beast tribes from this point, but hey, what can you do? I'm sure that we'll be getting something special for the final patch anyway. So yeah, that's everything we know so far for patch 5.4 Futures Rewritten. So until next time everyone, take care and have fun out there. Bye!